Hello and welcome to this video series about BIM9 and Private BIM Clouds. My name is Brian Smith, and in this video we're going to explore some of the popular paths to getting a Private BIM Cloud in your office. Now if you've missed any of the videos in this 6-part series, I'll show you how you can view the other videos at the end of this one. Now let's look at the two different ways to get started with the Private BIM Cloud in your office. We found that most take a jump right in or a test the waters approach. We call them our BIM9 Private BIM Cloud setup service or our test drive phased approach. If you're ready to get rolling right away, here's our one-step configuration pricing. We will help you design and install a Private BIM Cloud using hardware that you either have, or we'll help you spec it if you have a hardware vendor that you normally work with. This service is $11,000 and includes our discovery process to better understand how your company works and how the Private BIM Cloud needs to be optimized. It also includes our 2.5 days of travel expenses to your office for configuration, testing, and training staff how to connect to your Private BIM Cloud. Now this also includes 90 days of silver lining support, which includes email, telephone, remote access support, basically anything that we can do without traveling to your location. If you do not have a machine capable of hosting a Private BIM Cloud, BIM9 can design and build the system to fit your needs based on the intended number of users in either a desktop or rack mount case. Just add the price of the equipment to the startup fee. $3,000 for a 3 to 5 user desktop, $3,500 for a 3 to 5 user rack mount in a 3U case, or $6,000 for a 7 to 10 user rack mount machine in a 3U case. So what if you know you'll be expanding your Private BIM Cloud later on and want to do the configuration yourself? That's where the brain trust comes in. So by adding $3,500, our IT specialists will come out and train your staff how to configure and optimize and roll out a Private BIM Cloud of your own. The final add-on you see is a year of silver lining support that you can always add for $12.95. If you decide on a turnkey system and would like BIM9 to provide the hardware, here's what's inside a 3 to 5 user desktop or rack mount. An Intel i7 4-core 3.5 GHz processor, 32 GB of 2333 MHz RAM, 512 GB of solid-state drive space, Windows 7 Ultimate licenses for each of the virtual machines, along with the overall operating system and virtualization system, plus keyboard and mouse. So for our Private BIM Cloud, the only other thing you'd have to provide are your Revit licenses. As a sidebar while on the topic of licenses, as we pointed out, each virtual machine on your Private BIM Cloud will also have its own Windows license. From an Autodesk standpoint for your employees, each one of the users on your Private BIM Cloud would either use a standalone license or would check out a license from your Autodesk license server. When collaborating with companies on an integrated design project, the company you're collaborating with would transfer their own licenses using standard Autodesk tools temporarily to the Private BIM Cloud. When the project is complete, the license is transferred back. This will keep everything in compliance with the license agreement. Okay, so to recap the Get Started Right Away option, it's an $11,000 investment plus hardware if you need it, and extra services. And you will be providing the Autodesk licenses. Now if you want to test the waters first, here's our phased approach. The first phase is a Private BIM Cloud test drive. Phase 2 is where we help you select the right upgrade path. We'll look at these different options in a moment. And Phase 3 is the Private BIM Cloud integration. For the test drive, you'll complete a discovery workbook, which helps us learn more about your company, the users, and your network. We need this information to help configure your test drive Private BIM Cloud that we'll deliver to your office to use for 30 days. We install the Private BIM Cloud on your network configured for 3 users, and we provide training for each of the end users, teaching them how to log in and use the system. After 30 days, we move on to phases 2 and 3. This is where you choose how you want to proceed. With the integration kit option, you'll return the BIM9 hardware, and then we'll move into phase 3 by completing an on-site discovery, install a Private BIM Cloud on your equipment, and we'll provide any additional end-user training. You'll also receive 90 days of silver lining support with the integration kit option. For the BIM9 box option, you'll keep the BIM9 box used during the test drive. Then we'll expand on your on-site discovery, make any additional setup adjustments, and provide any additional end-user training. With the BIM9 box option, you'll receive 90 days of silver lining support. Finally, there's the brain trust option of moving forward. Here you'll return the test drive machine, and then we'll expand the discovery past the test drive users. Then we'll perform the knowledge transfer, the brain trust. This is where we not only install a private BIM cloud on your equipment, but we actually walk you through the process so when you're ready to expand and create additional private BIM clouds, you'll know how to do it. While we're on site, we'll also train additional users how to connect to your private BIM cloud, and you can see this option includes a full year of silver lining support, which again means we'll provide support by any means other than traveling to your location for a whole year. So as for a breakdown of the phased approach pricing, the 30-day test drive is $3,500. Then you add which migration path fits your application the best. The integration kit, where we configure the private BIM cloud on your own hardware, is $9,000. Keeping the BIM9 box from the test drive, then integrating the rest of your organization is an additional $11,000. And choosing the brain trust option, where we teach you how to build your own private BIM clouds, is an additional $12,500. You'll see that the main difference between the jump right in approach and the phased approach is about $1,500, and this is to offset some of our travel expenses for the second trip. So those are the two main paths to having a private BIM cloud in your office. Now you can choose a topic that you're interested in watching next. Just click the link in the video. Here you can learn about BIM9 and private BIM clouds as a whole, see the performance of connecting to a Revit model over a private BIM cloud, learn about the hardware used in private BIM clouds, understand the challenges a private BIM cloud solves, or see what others have to say about BIM9 and using a private BIM cloud. Thank you for watching, and again, I'm Brian Smith. If you have any other questions, be sure to check us out on the web at BIM9.com.